my mum's Venezuela. English isn't even my first language.
Stop playing, Francis.
Yo puedo hablar español, lo podemos hacer en español.
Whoa! Bro, this is mind-blowing. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
You're a minority.
I am.
You're a minority.
I'm
my
a
friend.
fucking minority, mate. I'm a minority in my own country.
Everybody, welcome to the Solid Show. This is Comedy Dates time. So, the 16th of April, guys, very big day. Your boy's dropping his Don't Tell comedy special that day. April 16th, that is a Wednesday. Please, everyone, watch it, share it, send it to everyone you know. That's a really big deal for your boy, so please do that. April 24th and 25th, I will be at the La Jolla Comedy Store in San Diego with Ehsan Ahmad. And April 25th, I will be in the belly room of the Comedy Store in L.A. with Ehsan Ahmad. We'll be co-headlining that, so if you're a Solid Show fan in San Diego or L.A., get those tickets. May 2nd and 3rd, I'll be headlining the Velveeta Room in Austin. And June 27th, 28th, I'll be headlining the Comedy Cabin in Janesville.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Ehsan. Same thing, April 24th, and I'm at the Comedy Store in La Jolla with Deric. And April 25th, I'm at the Comedy Store in Hollywood with Deric. And then June 12th to the 13th, I'll be at the Deaf Puppy Comedy Club in Manteca, California. The tickets are in my bio, and I'll have more dates coming soon. So see y'all soon.
Enjoy the show.
Look and sound terrible. Don't ever do it.
Dude, she would. I mean, she could, but let me tell you something. She doesn't know how. You know what I mean?
No, she will. She's remembering everything.
That's so funny. And then one day she's going to get us back.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, she's going to take all the cuts of you saying shit. It's all going to be out of context. You're both going to come on trigonometry, talk about how your career's gone down the toilet. That'll be how it works.
I hope it cut to the end of this, and you're just like, Val, you're a fucking idiot. You are. What was? Oh my God, why?
All right. So you got in a car accident on the way here.
No,
what?
Nearly.
Yes.
So
he was driving on the wrong side of the road. And
no, I think you'll find it's the correct side of the road. I think you'll find. No, I decided to get with the future, and I accidentally ordered one of those driverless Ubers.
The Waymos.
The Waymos, right? So I got in one, and I'm like, okay, right, whatever. And then I think it'll be fine. This is the future. And then, you know what it does? It cuts in front of people on like a main road. It cut in front of a whole bunch of cars. The cars screeched, and then it just carried on, man. Like, it blew my mind. This is basically, we've invented technology that drives like my Venezuelan mother.
Wait,
Crazy.
your mom's Venezuelan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
That was, yeah.
Well,
It's crazy that the story shifted into another story. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. My mum's Venezuela. English isn't even my first language.
Stop playing, Francis.
Yo puedo hablar español, lo podemos hacer en español.
Whoa!
Podemos hacer el podcast en español si lo desea.
Val, is that correct?
Sí, él habla español muy bien.
Sí, ¿de dónde vienes, Val?
Mi familia es venezolana.
¿De qué parte? ¿Qué
No, this is live.
God.
This isn't real. This isn't really happening. They're saying gibberish. They're pretending to do gibberish.
Estos gringos son unos coños de madre.
Sí, de verdad que son unos mamahuevos. de
Sí,
verdad.
un
that's
mamá
about us.
Oh,
huevo.
yeah, no, that's about us. That's about us.
Yeah. What she said to you was very problematic.
Wait, Val, you speak another fucking language?
Yeah,
She's Venezuelan, dude.
and Peruvian.
And Peruvian. You don't even know where your fucking
No,
producers from?
we tell Deric this at least once a month, and once a month it blows his mind. This is like
That's
the 7th
true.
time he's found out Val's Venezuelan.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time I don't believe it. It's mind-blowing. I can't believe. Damn, dude, you speak another language? That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so, like, not American. I feel like only Americans speak one language.
Trust me, it's not British either, mate.
Really?
No, man. No one speaks another language in where I'm from. Our attitude is, we conquered the world, you should speak our language.
That's where we got that from.
Yeah.
You guys passed that down.
Yeah, we did.
It's like if the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
That is that.
Yeah.
Because we're very much, because don't you feel like, oh, if you don't speak English, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Especially here. When we're here, definitely.
And when there's an Uber Eats situation, if there's food involved, just talk to me how I talk.
Yeah.
But that is crazy that we do get that from you. It makes sense that you guys were that way. And
Yeah.
then we took that.
Yeah. Our attitude is if you don't know the language, then we're just going to shout at you until you understand.
Damn, that is the American way. Maybe we're not so different after all.
Does your mom look Venezuelan?
Yeah. My mum is half Lebanese, so she's half Arabic, quarter Turkish Cypriot, quarter Sicilian, with some like native blood in there as well. Like my mum is proper ethnic.
Whoa.
Whoa, your dad has strong genes then.
Man, yeah,
That's what I
Look at that. When I go to Venezuela, people are like, what the fuck is this white boy?
No way.
They can't. They can't.
You look so you're basically a shepherd's pie. You look like a person. You look so British.
That's the sweetest thing anybody's ever said to me. That's genuinely the nicest thing. That could almost be a term of affection. You come here, my little shepherd's pie. Gonna tuck into you, darling.
Oh, bro, this is mind-blowing. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
You're a minority.
I am.
You're a minority.
I'm
my
a
friend.
fucking minority, mate. I'm a minority in my own country.
He just starts screaming the N-word like, oh no, we blocked the block.
We've lost him. I mean, you're truly mind blown. Out of all the ways this pod was going to start today, I'm like, oh my God. You speak another language and your mom's Venezuelan?
Yeah, my granddad was an Arab. My granddad's surname is Saud.
Whoa.
Like proper, like a little Arab bloke.
Wow.
Saud,
What are you?
like the name, the family name that the country is named after?
Yeah, like
Damn.
Saud. Vasily Saud was his surname.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I
Are you
recognize Saud from Saudi Arabia. No. I'm not.
You're Indian.
He also tries.
No.
I'm Bangladeshi.
He looks
which is basically
Bangladeshi,
Indian.
mate.
Yeah.
That's
which is,
Indian.
Yeah, which is.
Nah.
I mean, not technically, but like ethnically, we are very much like racially along those lines. We're the same people. That's how I say. Sometimes I'll just say Indian when I'm like, I'm not about to explain Bangladeshi.
So basically, what happened, right? So India won independence from Britain. And because, yeah, exactly. We're still bitter about it, man. We're still bitter.
They lost India and then they lost all the spices in their food.
Yeah, exactly. And then we took your cuisine and bastardized it.
Yeah.
Trust me, what we did to Indian cuisine is terrible. We just put in like loads of, like we took a curry, which is beautiful, and then we just put in loads of yogurt and sugar so that English people can eat it.
Oh my goodness.
And we called it like a chicken korma is what it's called.
That's what chicken korma is?
Yeah,
It's
that's
British Indian food?
it's British Indian food. So yeah,
I actually didn't know that.
chicken tikka masala doesn't exist in India. This is the interesting thing. So the Indian, so basically what happened with India was they became liberated from the British Empire, and then it was split into three countries: India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, formerly known as East Pakistan and West Pakistan. And the reason is because Pakistan and Bangladesh are Muslim countries. India is Hindu.
Wow.
So they did it for stability.
Yeah,
so
but it was split up by a guy who'd never really been there. He just put lines and we're like, these are the lines. This is about, we'll have the Muslims on this side and the Hindus on this side. That's why India and Pakistan, there's like the disputed land and there's a lot. But it all used to be one place.
yeah.
It all used to be, so ethnically we're the same people. There's like different tribes, of course, and different religions, but ethnically we're the same. That's how I describe it.
Don't worry, Deric. We're not going to get into Kashmir, mate.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Sweaters? We can talk sweaters if you want. That was, I learned a lot. Wait, where? Okay, because you just said there's a dispute over land. Wait, where is the Gaza Strip thing happening?
Right.
Wow. Okay. Damn. I did not know you didn't know Israel and India were different places.
But how close are they?
I'd say pretty far.
They're pretty far. It's thousands of miles away. So basically, the Middle East is much closer to Africa than it is to India. Because the Middle East, so that's Africa. You've got Egypt there. And Egypt, it has a border with Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
So Egypt is the top of North Africa, and that has a border with Gaza. And then Gaza obviously has a border with Israel.
So yeah. So
Oh, wow, they do touch.
yeah, if you zoom in on Egypt, that's about so that tip of Egypt right there, all the way to the side, that little peninsula area, right above that is that's where Gaza is.
Yeah, so I got it wrong. It's there. There you go. So yeah, so that's it. And then you got the Middle East. You got Jordan, Bahrain. Then you got Saudi there, Yemen, Oman, all of it.
Oh my God, and there's Bangladesh.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Bangladesh. Yeah.
That's where your parents are from.
Yep, that's where my parents are from.
There you go.
Yeah, but when my parents were born, Bangladesh was still East Pakistan
When did it become? It became Bangladesh
in the
our.
70s.
Wow, that's like
Yeah.
really recent.
Yeah, in fact, like the first big benefit concert, you know how they have those benefit concerts, was
Yeah.
George Harrison for Bangladesh. That was like one of the first big benefit concerts in America, I believe. It was in America?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, but yeah, and it's because Bangladesh, incredibly fertile, prone to flooding.
Is it now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's same goes with our women, if you know what I mean.
Oh, Val, you didn't like that one? Come on, dude.
I didn't really get it.
You know, I didn't either.
I did. I got it. I got it.
fertile, prone
I
to
got it.
flooding?
I got
Come
it.
on.
I got it.
Like,
I got it.
Yeah, come on.
You know, they're not as
sorry, our women don't have those communist pussies like they do in Venezuela. But
Wait, is that a communist country?
Venezuela is, yeah, man.
Whoa.
Right, proper communist. Yeah. I've had like family members put in jail. I've had like with journalists. My cousin's a journalist, had to literally flee for his life from Venezuela. Yeah, man. You criticize the government. Woo.
Where's Venezuela?
Venezuela's the top
Right
of
there.
South America. There you go.
Oh, there it is, right there. Wow.
There you go. That's where it is.
right
That's
next to Colombia.
right next to Colombia.
This is where I'm going this weekend.
Argentina.
Is that where you're from?
No, I'm from Venezuela.
No,
No, she's from Venezuela, dude.
This how quickly he forgets. This is how quickly he forgets. I would say this twice in one episode is a record, I would say.
This is incredible.
Yeah. We mainly brought you on here to teach Deric stuff. That's why you're here. Deric doesn't know a bunch, and we're like, Francis can teach him some stuff.
I think I might have the thing, the Dory problem.
Yeah. You know, I used to teach special needs kids, man. So this is going to be great.
Did you really?
Yeah, I taught primary, and then I taught, I taught special needs for a little bit.
Are you doing stand-up at this time, or are you not even doing
Yeah,
this?
I'm doing stand-up. So we did a podcast. We went all interviewing loads of people. New York for my pod, Trigonometry. We did New York, DC, Austin. And then we did Rogan last week. And then
Awesome.
I'm finishing my book and doing stand-up in the evenings for a week here.
Wow.
Damn.
Wait, but while you were teaching special needs kids, were you doing stand-up at that time?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, did you have a lot of material on that, or were you like, I'm not trying to touch that to get fired?
No, I didn't give a fuck, man. Like, literally, like, you can do, like, apart from, like, the obvious, you can do whatever you want as a teacher because nobody wants to be a teacher in the UK. Pays terrible, kids are cunts.
Damn, another thing we took from y'all.
Yeah.
That's also crazy because you just called a bunch of special needs kids. Like, wait a minute. Wait, they were cunts?
Yeah, they are. They're fucking dicks. Just because you can't write your name doesn't mean you can't be a shitty human being.
That's
a
actually
very fair point,
Yeah,
actually.
that's I was being the racist one for assuming that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's but it got to a point, you know, where because I was starting to do better in comedy.
Yeah.
And then I was doing crowd work clips back in 2018, back then, and putting it on my Instagram. And and then what would happen is that my kids would go on my Instagram and say things like, "Sir, what's a nonce?" Do you know what a nonce is?
No.
A nonce is English slang for paedophile.
Oh.
So
Damn, that's pretty cool, actually. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah, I like it
Yeah,
too.
I like nonce.
So what
Good,
nonce stands
nonce.
for is not on normal courtyard exercise. So when paedophiles get arrested, get put in prison, they can't exercise with the rest of the inmates because they're going to get fucked up. So they got their own wing, their own time to exercise, their own food, and they're called a nonce because it's not on normal courtyard exercise.
Damn. That's pretty cool.
See, you're learning too.
I am learning
Yeah.
too.
We're both learning.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so, and then the kids would ask me, because there was one clip I did that went kind of semi-viral, where I was talking to this guy, and I said, how old are you? And he was like 35, and he said, and I went, oh, cool, how old's your girlfriend? He went 19, and I went, how long have you been in a relationship for? He was like, 3 years.
Oh.
And I'm like, what does it feel like to be a nonce? And then, and then the kids saw it, and then they asked the question.
Wow.
Damn.
That's kind of cool to go viral in front of like your class.
Not if you want a career, Deric. No.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
yeah. You can't be teaching kids that.
And going viral.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool. Like you are flexing. Because it's like that's their whole goal is to go viral. I feel like kids these days, that's all they want.
I don't know. I feel like even 2018, that's kind of like, I feel like that going viral all the time, that's like a post-pandemic sort of mindset.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because like even back in like, if you think about 2018, if something went viral on the internet, people were like, oh, you got to be careful because it's on the internet, it'll live forever, people will see it forever. Now it's if you go viral, who cares? Because you go viral in the land of viralness.
Yeah. I do know what you're saying, because I remember coming up for us, it was like, oh, don't take a picture with like a beer in your hand.
Yeah.
Because it might affect you getting a job later. Like that was like a thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you weren't, man, this is so different. Like in the UK, everyone would be like, yeah, that's normal. Like you with a beer in your hand?
Yeah, it was like a beer or a plastic red cup. It's like never take a picture with one of those.
Why?
Because you might not be able to get a job one day.
What, because you drank a beer?
Yeah, that was like a thing.
That was like a thing. I remember that being
in a-
like stuff like that.
Like people would tell you stuff like that. Like your parents, teachers. Like that was like a saying, like common.
Really? So even though it's legal, that would be frowned upon?
Isn't that yeah, you're blowing my mind right now. Yes. Even though it is illegal, it would be like, oh, this person has a picture of them on the internet with a red cup. Like,
oh, they party. They're not. You know what I mean?
They're not gonna take this job
it's
serious.
It's like you're not presenting as professional.
yeah.
Like people would go through and like if they're
Check your
interviewing
shit.
for jobs, they would hide the posts. I definitely remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so, but you could be there on a photograph, you with loads of guns, and people be like, yeah, that's awesome.
Guns are fine.
It's America.
Guns are fine. Guns, you're gonna get the job.
Yeah.
Guns, you'll get the job. That is true. You're gonna 100% have guns. But yeah, if you a picture with like alcohol,
That was
a
we were
taboo
told.
thing, or weed, of course.
Really?
Yeah, well, weed became legal in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So it was like when I was in high school, weed was still not legal everywhere. Or they had just started, I think, legalizing weed recreationally in like when I was in college.
Really?
Yeah, is weed legal in Britain?
No.
No.
Everyone smokes it, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Like Britain is now kind of like descended into lawlessness. Like you can do whatever you want. That's kind of the rule.
Okay.
Just don't take the piss.
Yeah.
Apart from that, like everybody can buy it. The only difference is when you buy weed, I have to say that this is theoretical for the purposes of my visa. But if you buy weed, the only difference is here it's much better quality. It's regulated. Because in the UK, if you have an edible, so people tell me, so I'm told, you can have an edible and like nothing will happen. You're like, dude, what's that? Because it's all homemade. Or you can have an edible, theoretically, and then you're just on the sofa like,
Oh.
Yeah.
because that's it. You've just hit. All the weed hit has been put in one edible, and you're like,
Oh my, yeah. I guess the regulation is what makes it really nice.
yeah.
Well, it's like, and you kind of like, if you're in Texas, you're getting your weed from a state where it's legal, so you don't feel like, you're gonna get good stuff. You don't feel like you're getting ripped off or like where do they even grow the weed in Europe?
They just grow it. They grow it in house.
Yeah.
It's all done. It's all done. And it's so funny. It's like a lot of it is done in people's lofts. So they grow it in people's lofts. So there's this grandmother who was making like tens of thousands of pounds a week, and she was growing it in her loft of her house. Like her son left, and then she just converted his bedroom into the weed place.
Smart lady.
Smart lady. Until
10,000 pounds?
Until she got caught.
10,000 pounds, I think he means money wise, not weight.
Yeah.
10,000 British pounds.
Yeah. Sterling.
Yeah.
You're learning, Deric.
I'm like, oh my god, that's so much weed. 2,000
That's-
pounds.
yeah.
That's why I was like, dude, she was like really making money, dude. That's crazy. Okay. But she was 10,000 pounds. That's a lot of money too, right? How much
Yeah.
is that in American?
That's probably about $12,000 to $13,000.
It's incredible.
Yeah. A month, a week. Would you say?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. Either way,
10
10,000
grand,
either way.
10 grand a week. Boom.
Oh man.
Damn. Yeah. Well, you get caught if you're moving that much.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, I think she thought because she was a little old lady that no one would suspect her.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and then people were just coming in and out, just getting fucked up.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying because when you said the UK went into like lawless, like just a crazy place.
Yeah.
When I was there, one of the scariest moments I've ever had was being in an Uber, and I was at a red light, and a kid, young London looking kid, but he had the mask, like the
Yeah,
full
yeah.
shiesty, just knife in his hand, and he was just staring at me. And he just, I mean, it's so close to the car like this, and there was the longest red light I've ever felt. And it was like, oh, wow. And then you seen like, it was a bunch of kids like that. And I was like, what the fuck is this place? Like, I didn't know this place was that, like a hood place.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary there, bro.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's where were you? Do you know where you were where this happened?
We were in Manchester.
That makes sense.
We weren't in London. We were in Manchester because
You
we
were
were
in Manchester.
we were going to whatever the arena is because we were going to watch Logan Paul fight whoever he was fighting at that time.
Okay.
But yeah, we were in Manchester by wherever the big arena is.
Where? Were you in Old Trafford? Was it Old Trafford?
That sounds familiar.
Okay. All right. So that's where a team called Manchester United play. If you like soccer. But okay, so you were there, and then what happened? There was a kid who was following you, or there was a kid?
No, just a bunch of kids like that. But the kid I just remember was just at a red light, and he's standing by the window, knife in hand, poo shiesty mask on, and truly terrifying. And then when I saw him, I kind of looked around and noticed like, oh, there's like a million, like they were all out. They're just out and about. It was like late.
man.
This is like 1, 2 in the morning at this point, and it was truly like, oh, this is like a hood place. I didn't realize how hood it was.
Yeah.
So I get when you said that, I was like, no, that's real. It was very kind of scary there.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's funny though. Like I remember there was this one comedian who was talking to me backstage. I think it was at the Mothership. He was like, "I'm going to London," and I was like, "All right, yeah." And he goes like, "I'm worried." Why are you worried? He was like, "I'm just worried about knife crime, man. Like it's really scary, isn't it? Like they have knives. Like do they just come up and stab you?" I'm like, "Dude, you're from Detroit. What are you talking about? Did you fucking don't come at me with like I'm worried about getting stabbed." He was like, "Yeah, but Detroit now it's gentrified." I'm like, "Fuck off." No, it's not. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it is. It's scary. Man.
When I wasn't prepared for it. I was surprised because in my head, London and Manchester, all these
like
places,
Mary
they're like
Poppins land?
just beautiful. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Mary Poppins land. Everything's nice and like that's in my head. Everyone is you, just that. Like, and then I got there and it was like, oh, this is like a hood area. This is like a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah. That's completely what it's like in some areas. In some areas, like you walk along, and it is wild, utterly wild. And I don't think Americans. Well, it's so interesting actually now because before you used to have this idealized image of what the UK was. And you would be like, "Oh, hello, yeah."
Yes.
And you do that fucking stupid accent that every single one of you does whenever I start speaking.
Oh, like Deric did at the beginning of this episode?
Yeah. It's like your Tourette's, man. You can't help yourself.
And I told everyone, I said, "Hey guys, don't do that to him when he does." I say, "Guys, don't do that."
Yeah. I've got a friend. Whenever I call him up, he goes, "Francis." It's just, but yeah, and you feel it's like Mary Poppins, or now you're just like, dude, when I go over there, will I get stabbed?
Yeah. Central C. You guys have you guys have rappers now. You guys are a part of like hood culture.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of like famous like gangster rappers who are from London now. Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
So it is interesting.
We've got drill music.
Drill, exactly.
Yeah.
Drill. You know, some of those guys are so retarded. They're so stupid. This is a true story, right? There's one guy who got arrested for murder, and one of these rappers, and they said to him, and he said, I didn't do it. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, I didn't do it. I didn't do nothing." They're like, "Dude, you talked about it in your song. Like the guy rapped about stabbing someone and then got arrested and then got put in prison.
That's a whole thing. The people rap about who they kill all the time here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
is like a
really.
thing. Yeah, they become like anthems. Yeah. He was just trying to emulate what he was saying. I think
Yeah, it is still retarded though.
it is
Yeah.
very dumb.
That's retarded.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, should we start the pod? We haven't. None of that was recorded.
That's so fun. Well, my question is too: does because like we hear about this from comics from like other like Canada and India, is UK a place where you can talk freely on stage, or is it like is there some like
Okay.
weird like free speechy type stuff?
All right. So we'll talk about this then. All right. On the 1st of April 2023 in Scotland has a different legal system to England. Scotland's law is based in Roman law. English law is a different law. I can't remember where it comes from. In April the 1st, 2023, so April Fool's Day, ironically enough, Scotland brought in a hate speech bill, and then it became law, which means that if you tell a joke on stage or if you say something on stage which a reasonable person would find offensive, you can be arrested, charged, put on trial, and then sentenced to a jail sentence for up to 5 years.
Damn,
5 years?
5 years.
5 years just for and what defines a reasonable
Yeah, I was
person?
about to say, what would that? Yeah, like what would I have to say to get that person arrested?
It's not specified. It's not specified. The only thing that they say is it's something that a reasonable person would find offensive.
Right, but they don't define a reasonable person. No. Okay.
No. So there is a chance that you go on stage and if somebody reports you that you can be arrested for, I can't remember the name of the bill. It's hate speech, but if there's somebody classifies it as hate speech, then you can be arrested. That's why Ari Shafir is moving to the UK. Because he wants to get arrested, God bless him. I mean, because that will do wonders for his career.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Ari's doing great anyway, but that would take you to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But-
getting arrested in the UK.
Yeah, but people get arrested all the time for Facebook posts, tweets. If you say something which is deemed to be offensive, that I think the bill is called, I can't remember the bill, the Online Communications Act, Harm to Communications Act. So if you say something which is perceived to be offensive, then you can be arrested. There was a girl, a very famous case, I think this was actually in 2019, so it was quite a while ago now. A girl whose best friend died. She died in a car crash. She was very young, this girl. She was early 20s. And her best friend's favorite song was a rap song. I can't remember the name of it. And she put up the lyrics on her Instagram, and the lyrics contained the N-word. And she was arrested, charged, and given a criminal record for posting that on her Instagram because it contained the N-word.
And this is in London?
That was in England, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
In 2019?
yeah.
So is
They
there?
don't have free speech.
Yeah. Well, is there the specter of this still, or do comedians kind of not give a fuck, or has it like kind of affected?
Well, look, it depends. There'll
The
be be comedians who say there is no problem with free speech in comedy. Look, if you can legitimately get arrested for telling a joke at the Edinburgh Festival, the world's biggest arts festival, the world's biggest stand-up comedy festival, and that is enshrined in law, I think that tells you everything that you need to know about where the UK is. The UK is now the UK is also now talking about implementing blasphemy laws. They're having a discussion. So if you make a joke again about against one of the three Abrahamic religions that people may find offensive, you can be arrested. They're talking about making it illegal.
Is that okay? Now here's a question about that. Is that from a rise of more like people being more religious, or does it have something to do with the fact there are a lot of from my outside perspective, looking into all of Europe, there are a lot of these sort of hardline Muslim immigrants or that have come in, and it seems like a way more intense version of Islam that's over there than there is probably here in America.
I think that's certainly one aspect of it. We have much more because we've had a lot of immigration come into the country. What has actually happened is we've had lots of people from Muslim countries. So we get people from Indonesia, people from different countries who follow Islam. But one of the things about that is that they follow different versions of Islam or different strains of Islam. And there is a subsection of the population that follows a very, very conservative aspect of Islam. Very, very conservative. And there are a few people, there's a Labour MP called Tahir Ali who is talking about this and wanting it to be implemented in the country.
Because that's what it felt like to me. There is this sort of rise of, and I've noticed this a little bit here too, where if you kind of criticize that, you're labeled as Islamophobic and all that sort of stuff. Where it's like there is some sort of sex is probably the best way to put it, sex of Islam. That it's like, man, a lot of those ideals are incompatible with stuff like free speech and stuff like, and it feels like it's more of a fight because of that. Yeah.
Because what it is about is they follow a very conservative strain of Islam, which is fine. You know, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But the problem comes is when you want to implement that in the rest of society and force the rest of society to follow that. The UK is basically, we call ourselves Christian. We're not really. We're now very much a secular country. So we're not really a Christian nation anymore. You'd be hard-pressed to find a regular person in the UK who is a Christian. Of course there are, but it's very much in the minority. But so tend to be the most religious people, the people who are most devout about religion in the UK, tend to be ethnic minorities, people like my mum who are super Catholic, or you get first and second generation immigrants like my mum who follow a very conservative strain of Islam. And they want the government and the law to reflect their beliefs. But my argument to that is, but that is not the tradition in the UK. It's not the tradition in the UK. We haven't had blasphemy laws for a long, long time. I don't think that if someone makes a joke against that pokes fun at Islam, they should be facing any kind of sanctions, just as the same with Christianity, just as the same with Hinduism. And I think if a society starts to go down that path, we start to enter really dark times, because what you actually find is that we're entering an authoritarianism.
Yeah, it's
all that's going on over there right now.
Yeah,
and it's kind of going on a little bit over here. You'll see the rise of a more sort of conservative, violent. I don't want to, because people always like, oh, you're saying Muslims are violent. No, but there is this strain that is like, do you know that author? There's this author named Salman Rushdie.
Yeah, I know that is.
Yeah, he got stabbed here by a guy who grew up in New Jersey, for a book he wrote in the 70s or whatever, or 80s or whenever he wrote that book. So it's like, it's on the rise here. There is this sort of like, well, we believe this and that should be reflected on the outside community, where it's like, no, you left that place for a reason. So to bring those problems over here is also a little bit crazy to me. I don't know. I'm very westernized, clearly.
I
But
have a question.
You're fucking westernized.
yeah.
How does that work right now with you traveling and you speaking about certain things abroad? Like, this might seem silly, but if you were to tweet while being here, would then you expect consequence upon arrival?
Well, it depends. It depends what I tweeted and what my opinion was. But I'm sure that people would report a tweet. There is the potential for that. That's why most comedians in the UK, actually, apart from a very, very small cohort, don't get involved in this kind of stuff. And they will say, oh, there's no problem with racism, or there's no problem with X or Y or Z or whatever it may be. It's because there is this real culture of fear. There is a real culture of fear now. And things are getting progressively worse. It's just the way it is. And going back to your point, I really agree with you, because if you look at a lot of Islamic countries, but that are more moderate, like the UAEs and of the world and the Bahrains and so on and so forth, they come down really heavy on this stuff, on the extremism, and they talk about it, and they have no place for it whatsoever, because they realize when you get to the really extreme end of the spectrum, the people who are Islamists, the people most in danger from those types of extremists aren't Western people. They're Muslims.
They're the Muslims. Yeah.
They're the Muslims, because what these people want at the hyper extreme end, and I'm talking about ISIS and people who support or sympathize those types of organizations, they want a global Islamic caliphate. So what that means is there is no countries anymore. All borders are obliterated. Everyone is Muslim. Everyone is following Sharia law in the strictest possible sense. And that is spread across the globe. So when those people hate the West, of course they do. But they hate Saudi Arabia as well, because Saudi Arabia is becoming more liberal, and because the ruler of Saudi Arabia is the crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman. And they want to get rid of him just as much as they want the West to fall as well. But they probably hate Saudi Arabia even more because they feel that they've betrayed Islam. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, you're right. We call it's my friends make fun of it online, like the haram police, where they'll like, there's these people that will police like Muslim people online, being like, you shouldn't do that, as astaghfirullah, that's so bad, and it's so funny because they're all like, if you check their feeds, it's all like half naked women. Obviously, it's all like, you know what I mean? Like the people in my mind who are like that, the sort of I'll police religion. Yeah. It's because it's coming from their own like lack of confidence in their faith. So they're like, oh, let me outwardly push it out. But yeah, it's like like an interesting thing that I've just noticed. It's like if I'll get more negative comments if I talk about religion more than. I was on Kill Tony a while ago, and Adam Ray is like, how do you get my hair like that? Because my hair was all crazy. And he goes, I just go by the grace of Allah. And that was just a joke. And immediately the comments in the live that were like, don't talk to Allah, don't talk about Allah, don't talk about Allah, don't talk about Allah. It's like, it's crazy. It's kind of crazy. I always felt like that aspect I've never really jived with. Like, we should be able to be made fun of and like all that, South Park, should they be able to have that episode with the Prophet Muhammad? Who cares? It doesn't bother. It doesn't bother the Christians when Jesus is doing crazy shit, especially on South Park. It don't bother them. Why should it bother us?
You know what's crazy though? I do agree. I think they are harder on like other Muslims more than they are on Western people.
Oh, for sure.
I'm thinking about like, damn, when I went there, I've been there twice to perform in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And we did the arena, and both times it was like, oh wow, because if you've seen Schultz's act, he does it. Like wherever we're at, he's making fun of that thing off top. That's the first thing he's doing, and he does it no matter what city we're at, no matter where we are, from Phoenix to Abu Dhabi. He's doing that, And it was crazy watching because they went crazy. I mean, it went super viral, like all the jokes he made, and he's going in. He's going in on all their shit, on everything about the way they live life and their culture, and they're going crazy. They're loving it. But I was thinking, like, damn, I wonder, because they're loving him doing this, but if you did it, I wonder if they still think these jokes would be funny, even though they're the same jokes. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
I wonder how they would handle it, like another actual Muslim person saying what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they let me or him or Schultz, or we were over there making jokes, but it's like, oh, they're like a fish out of water. It's like allowed.
You're being mascotted a little bit.
You're being mascotted a little bit of like,
yeah.
But he is at the same time. I mean, he's going in on like specific cultural things about Abu Dhabi and like Dubai. He was like, he's a master of what he does. So it was just interesting because I'm like, damn, but I wonder if a brown person could say this same joke. You know what I'm saying?
Was he talking about like the Quran or anything like that though?
Only thing I don't think he touched the Quran. But he touched everything
religion,
else.
Did he? Or I think he touched cultural
differences. He touched cultural differences. He might have touched like. No, he did touch religion. He does touch religion. Okay. So no, he did that.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Now he didn't go crazy. Obviously, I mean, he's a good comic, so he's not going to be disrespectful. But he did touch everything, and I was like, oh wow. But would they let a Muslim comic do those same jokes?
I do think like whenever I release, especially that McGraw-Hill joke that I have, when that finally gets released, I do wonder how people will react to that because it's not going to be positive.
Yeah, you know, I loved your set when I watched it, but I was really. The October 7th joke. And when I was watching it, I was like, there's no way you could do that in London.
Really?
Nah. I don't know. We're too pussy. I reckon if you did that, unless you did it at like a hardcore free speech night, then there are a few of them where you can do whatever you want. But I think in a lot of clubs, I think they'd go. I don't.
For the October,
I worry about like if I will go to London and do like the Muslim stuff I have, that it's definitely not in line with that sort of super conservative way of thought. And I was like, I wonder if that could run me into trouble. Because I have jokes about the Quran.
Do you think if I said it, it'd be more palatable for them?
Probably. I don't know.
Or would they still be the same amount of mad? Is what I'm wondering.
It'd probably be the same amount. There are a lot of black Muslims. I don't think you.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
think you
right.
get the pass.
You think a white person different though?
A white person might be different.
Just because it's so like, oh, fish out of water. He's noticing something about us.
Yeah, it's hard to say because my jokes are about being Muslim. It's not like
observational about Muslim stuff.
Yeah. So I think it'd be hard to translate that if you weren't.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But I do want, like I said, like my closing bit is about the Quran, or one of my closing bits is about the Quran. I don't think that would go over well at all. At all.
I think you could do it in some clubs, in some rooms. I think if you did it to white middle class people, I reckon they would get awkward as fuck. They'd just be like, oh God. They'd be like contorting themselves into little fusilli pasta. But they'd be like, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. It would I would find it fascinating to see what rooms would go for it, which ones didn't, and why. I'm sure it would work in some rooms, of course it would. But I don't even think, ironically enough, Muslim people would have a problem with it. I think it would be white middle class liberals who would have a absolute meltdown that you made those jokes.
They do. You know what's funny? Did I ever tell you what happened in Portland? I know. Yeah. So I did the October 7th joke in Portland.
Yeah.
5 shows, 4 shows, completely fine.
Yeah.
5th show, this white lady just starts performative crying in the middle of the joke.
Oh, fuck off.
Just like literally whining in the middle of the joke. It was crazy. And it's like, what? You know, it's like these people, the people who like, I need to be a good person.
Oh.
And everyone needs to, everyone around me needs to know how good of a person I am.
Well, how do you let people know you're a good person?
By interrupting a show that other people paid for, obviously, making it about me. But it is like, dude, I have like a bunch of 9/11 jokes. I have a bunch. It's like, this is like now this is where you take your moral stand.
You have a bunch of like racist jokes.
So, that's my whole act. I have nothing, dude. I went to Chicago and they had the sign that said like no homophobia, no racism, no fat phobia, no sizeism, no ableism, no. And that was the front door, and I was like, ooh, I gotta revise a lot of my set here tonight.
Hey, I'm Ehsan Ahmad.
Yeah,
Thank you. Good night.
Here's 15 minutes on my dad.
You know what's crazy? When I've seen you God, we've been best friends forever now. And I've seen your act 1 trillion times. And not until right now, this moment, this conversation, I'm like, oh, you're like a controversial comic. Because I've only seen him in America, and because here you're almost clean.
Oh, yeah.
He's almost very but I didn't realize, oh, wow, you put him in the right situation. You put him over in London, you put you in Abu Dhabi. You're like a fucking problem.
Yeah, like, do you know what? Austin warps your reality.
Yes.
Austin, you come out, you go, hey, retards, how are all the faggots in the house doing? Everybody gets up, standing O.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Few M-bombs. Thank you very much. Follow me on Instagram.
I do remember when I used to host the mic, I would always call it out on the open micers who would use faggot as a life preserver. Yeah. Where you're like, oh, you weren't getting laughs. You're like, I'll just say the word. And people will be like, oh, you can say that here. It's so crazy how that works sometimes.
Yeah.
But I am realizing now, like, oh, wow, you doing that, like, McGraw-Hill joke in Abu Dhabi is a problem. Fuck. They stopped the show.
I could get arrested.
I
could get arrested for that.
No, they would just send you home. We did. So we asked about it because we were curious when we did the show. We were like, let's say we did do something problematic.
Right.
What would happen? And they were like, we would literally get you on the first flight back. Like we would end the show. Good night. Thank you, everyone. They'd stop everything. and they usher you to the plane, and then that's it, and then you don't get to come back.
Okay.
But they won't, like, at least according to them, they said that they wouldn't arrest us. Like that, like they want you out of the country. They just want you out of it.
Right.
But then again, I am with the most famous comic in the world. Like if they arrest Andrew Schultz, it's like world fucking news.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do wonder if if I'd have just been there doing the Abu Dhabi Chuckle Hut.
Yeah.
I don't know if they I think you just get arrested maybe.
Yeah.
But I think with a guy like Andrew Schultz, you're like, oh, we don't even want this.
This problem.
This is
You
such
just
a
leave.
big
You just
thing.
get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because would we nuke? Would we kill them if they stole Andrew Schultz?
It would be a problem.
If they stole Andrew Schultz, Abu Dhabi,
We wouldn't nuke them, but it would be a problem.
it lets you know like your level of fame.
Well, because then
Would they Brittany Griner it? Like, are we trading?
yeah. Well, then it becomes like this big free speech issue, which is like what this whole current administration kind of runs a lot of their policy like this
Yeah.
is free speech, so they'd kind of have to fight for it.
Yeah, we would have to.
Yeah, they would have to. They would back. They would, even if they didn't want to, they would kind of back themselves into a corner. But also, the president has been on that podcast, so it's also another whole different thing.
Oh yeah, the president's been on this podcast. That's what I'm saying. We might go to war for Andrew Schultz. I can see that. I'm saying we going to war. I think we're going to war
we're not
for
going
a
to war.
famous
We're not going to war.
What
with
about Shane Gillis?
One of our biggest oil. We'll get him back. But we won't go to war.
But we're getting him back.
We're getting him back. Absolutely. If we got Brittany Griner back, we're getting Schultz and Gillis back. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We traded.
All right, how big until we go to war? What if it was Rogan?
We traded what? A terrorist for Brittany Griner?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, a real deal arms dealer for Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
You didn't
Not even a top 10 player in the league in the WNBA right now, probably, if I had to guess.
She might be top.
WNBA.
I don't think she's a top 10. You know what's funny? I've watched enough WNBA.
You've watched none.
I've watched.
You've watched none.
I've definitely watched highlights on Instagram. And I watched a couple games of the WNBA finals because I was stuck in Edmonton or stuck in Vancouver.
And it was just on
It was on
at the airport.
at the hotel.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'll watch
Okay.
this. Yeah, fellas, we don't have to watch it yet. It's not that good yet. They went like 1 from 23 from 3 points.
No, they're
like,
not good there yet. But I'll still college they're fire. Women's basketball in college, that shit's awesome.
That's so true. I was in a cigar bar and I was watching like women's basketball and college basketball. It was a lot of fun.
For some reason I don't know, they diminish. It's the opposite of men. When they go to the pros, it gets worse. I don't know how it even makes sense, but for some reason, watching them play college ball is better than watching them play pro basketball.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that logically makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well, some people argue college sports is better than professional sports. That's because of what's behind it. Y'all don't have that.
No,
No, the college sports is like, that's fire.
Oh, they don't have that.
no. We find that super weird.
What do people do at your universities? What do they
Take drugs. That's literally it.
Wait, you guys they don't have like rowing teams and
Oh yeah, they do, but no one gives a fuck about them. Actually, there's only one thing that people care about when it comes to college sports. It's Oxford and Cambridge rowing. It's the boat race between Oxford and Cambridge, and then that will be on TV, and everybody stops to watch that because we're such a class-based country.
yes.
Like people talk about racism, and like we do have racism, of course we do, but it's mainly class, man. It's mainly like white people hating on other white people.
The way God intended.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, that's it. You know, that's it. Like here, it's like white, black, or whatever it is. Like here, it's in my country. Of course, there's a race thing, but it's more like, yeah, we just hate the other white people.
Is it a caste system there? Am I saying that right? You know,
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi
Caste.
was a caste system.
A caste system is different because caste comes from religion, like comes specifically from the Hindu religion.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as far as I know, you can't move up caste-wise. Like
No.
the caste you're born in is the caste you live in and the caste you die in.
Well, that's what Abu Dhabi was like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Here, class system, there are ways to move up and move down. You could be knocked down as well.
Oh, so it's like America then.
Yeah. There's probably a little more different because they have like aristocracy ties and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you can still move up and move down. In India, if you're born at the top, you stay at the top, no matter how much of a fuck up you are. And if you're born at the bottom, even if you're a genius, you kind of stay there. I don't know if it's as prevalent as now, but it used to be back then, and there's definitely still remnants of that now, for sure.
So, there's quite a lot of Catholics in India, particularly in places like Goa. And the reason they became Catholic is a lot of them were born into the untouchable caste. So there was no way out for them, apart from converting to Christianity. You became a Christian, that's your opt-out clause. You're no longer part of the caste system. Now you've got your whole other problems, which is you're not a Hindu, so there's going to be prejudice about that and blah, 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 and whatever else. But that was their way out. So
But you can move up. If you became a Catholic, I can at least move up in society a little bit?
Yeah, you can move up in society. You'll never get fully accepted, but that's a much better deal than being the lowest of the lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, untouchable. That's what they call them.
Yeah, the untouchable.
Don't touch them. That's crazy. Yeah.
So in the way our system works is like you can be born working class, you can be born middle class, whatever else, and you kind of can normally stay in that. Even if you earn money, you get called nouveau riche, right? And English people hate the nouveau riche because they use a French word to describe it.
What does nouveau riche mean?
New rich.
Oh, new rich.
Yeah. And that's how you know. Like, in English people, if we hate somebody, we use French words to describe them. If somebody's like a ponce, we go, oh, they're la-di-da.
I've heard people say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
It also is very funny that they don't hate pedophiles that much. They still call them a nonce. They're
Yeah.
still one of us.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys really hate France.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a huge historical thing.
Yeah. They're kind of our bitches, though, because we beat them loads of times and we helped to liberate them in 2 world wars. So they kind of know that we own them.
Wait, World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
You guys liberated France.
Yeah, helped to liberate, along with yeah.
Well, yeah, France was in World War I. Did you liberate them, or you just sort of helped them? Like they couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah.
Hold their
So
line.
we helped to liberate them. Same in World War II.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Americans, right? Is that you don't really get there's a lot of you boys do, but a lot of you don't get banter.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Banter means taking the piss. You don't get it. You're a very earnest nation. It's really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, so we did an interview with trigonometry at the White House, right? And then these people were on a guided tour, and then one of them recognized Constantine and was just like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Just so you know, this is the room where the president was told about the attack on Pearl Harbor. And I went, so this is a room where you found out that you actually had to get involved and stop being pussies. They didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. Get him out of here. I didn't like that.
Right.
Yeah, but it's like, I love America, but you're very serious. You're very
Yes.
earnest.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Like, what'd you say?
Yeah, we're very. What'd you say? What are you looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. But why do you think we don't take the piss? Ehsan? Why do you think Americans don't take the piss?
We have guns.
Yeah, it's hard to take the piss when I can shoot you in the fucking face.
Yeah, or like if that guy doesn't realize that like, hey, this is kind of like what we like. I'm just kind of fucking around, and then he gets mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not that would happen, but like that's a possibility here.
Yeah, we might kill Francis.
Yeah,
Yeah, we might shoot Francis. And you keep saying shit about Pearl Harbor. No, I didn't know, because I just got into Hamilton. You ever seen the musical Hamilton?
Yes, I have seen it.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, it is. It's very good.
And he's not even from here.
Yeah, it is.
I've been telling everybody. But motherfuckers, I've been telling everybody it's the second greatest piece of art ever made. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
He says Harry
No,
Potter.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
No,
with
you were
that.
quiet because you were thinking about it.
No,
He says
you
Harry
agreed.
Potter. It goes Harry Potter, Hamilton.
Yeah, as far as
Harry
greatest
Potter.
art.
You're a big Harry Potter fan.
The books.
The
Well, look,
books.
I love the movies too, but I'm saying the Harry Potter books is the number one greatest art to ever be art. Anything that is considered art, it's the number one art. Number
Okay.
two is Hamilton.
Okay, so number one. So what do you think about J.K. Rowling's stance on the trans issue?
The most fair, logical take, like everything else she's ever done.
Yeah, never come to the UK, mate.
Yeah.
They don't like that?
Oh, dude, J.K. Rowling's like hated on the internet. You know that.
I knew that, but I didn't know it was from the UK specifically.
Yes.
I thought they would be home team.
No. In the UK, she's like people like go, how can you like her? She's a transphobe. She's evil.
What did she say exactly? Was she like?
We looked it up one time. She said something. She was like, "I respect everyone's right to do whatever they want. I just think for you to be a woman, you have to be like
Have a period.
and like deliver or it was some logical shit like that." And the people got very upset. People got very upset at that. But I didn't know it was a
just her
UK
opinion.
thing. I figured home team would still root for her.
No, man. It's so interesting because she was a darling of the left. She's an incredible person. She is the wealthiest woman in the UK. And she has never, unlike a lot of very rich people, she has never put her wealth overseas. She has never registered in any other country. And when asked about it, she goes, the reason that I don't is because when I was very poor and on benefits, the UK supported me. When I was a single mother, I was unemployed, I was struggling. This country helped me. And it's only fair now that I've made money to pay back into the system.
Dude, she's the GOAT.
And then she goes, hey, you know what? Men are men, women are women. And everyone's like, fuck this bitch! Fuck her! She's evil! She's a Nazi!
Yeah, she's the greatest. That's crazy. That's really like, bro, that's some dope shit to be like, I'm going to stay in this country just so my wealth can just so the trickle-down effect happens.
Yeah. So maybe,
in my home.
Maybe I'm helping the next me in some roundabout way.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, man. And when she said that, I was like, what an incredible woman. She could save literal millions by registering in any other country, and particularly places like Texas or Monaco or whatever else. She's worth hundreds of millions, but she's like, nah.
I'll pay the higher taxes or whatever. Yeah.
I'll pay the higher taxes. I'll be registered here because I believe, I believe in the system and I believe in socialized healthcare and whatever else. She's a legend.
What are the taxes like in the UK? Are they worse?
Dude. Oh my God, you're going to make me cry.
Wait, but are they worse than like America? Or
Yes.
So it's worse than like even New York and California?
Yeah, mate, look, I'll tell you. So here's what. In the UK, we pay, once you get past a certain, I think once you earn over £60,000, you pay 40% in tax.
Damn.
Literal 40% of your income goes on tax. You then pay, a type of property tax. Everything that is described as non-essential goods, so basically anything that isn't food, children's clothes or books, gets a 20% tax on it. If it's alcohol, it gets even higher than that. If it's cigarettes or tobacco, it gets even higher than that.
Wait, what? Hold on. I'm confused. Because that's bad. But then I know New York is also bad. And like LA is bad, taxes,
Yeah, they're high.
But didn't we left Britain
Yes.
to start America?
Okay.
But we just did the same thing?
I mean,
Didn't we leave over taxes?
No.
What was the T for?
Oh, so we left. We left because they were taxing us, but we didn't get representation in Parliament. No taxation over representation. Remember that?
That's what that means? That's what that means? So I like my point was I got into Hamilton, so I just got into history a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot now,
His first like I like history was because he watched Hamilton.
and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Really? History's incredible, dude.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And you put some niggas singing to it. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing of all time. Yeah,
But yeah, yes.
that's because I brought up when you said how we got here is because I brought up Hamilton because you said you guys bailed out France, 2 world wars, and then I was thinking about how they saved us
Yes, they saved us.
against y'all.
Yeah. That's what empires did back then. So, for instance, when Venezuela was overthrowing the Spanish Empire, that was funded a lot of it by the Brits. They weren't your friends. They were just trying to fuck over us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was. They weren't the good guys.
Well, from your perspective.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And those pricks ruined it.
Yeah, Lafayette, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's why it wasn't over the fact that things were getting taxed so much as they were getting taxed with us having a say about it.
Yeah.
That's what it was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely need taxes for stuff. Like I don't think it's impossible to run a country without tax.
But they don't tax religion. They don't tax religion anywhere, right? In the world? Do they
What do you
tax do they tax religion they don't tax religion here in
They don't
America.
tax like churches and stuff.
Churches don't get taxed. Do churches
Okay.
get taxed in where you're in the
Oh,
UK?
that's interesting. So all the income that churches make, they don't get taxed.
They don't
No.
get taxed. No.
That's fascinating.
That's why they have these mega pastors that are. There's this one very famous video this week of this guy.
Marvin Sapp.
Yeah. He's a church at some sort of mega church, a pastor at a mega church, and he locked the doors and didn't let people out till they got $40,000.
He said, "I need a $40,000, and we're not leaving this room until everyone together raises $40,000," which is interesting because it sounds like
a hostage situation. It sounds
Yeah.
like no one leaves until we get $40,000.
Why 40 grand? Why was he?
Because he needed a new boat.
I was gonna say,
probably.
I'm assuming that's exactly what his mortgage payment is. Like, I'm assuming it's whatever that number was. It's like, oh, that covers this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill.
Mm-hmm.
We need 40,000, and I'm not letting you out till I get this 40,000 because we
Yeah.
need it for God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that did just happen. That was a very viral moment. But that's my whole life was growing up in church like that. Like really black churches big churches where the pastor drove a Rolls Royce. The church is in the worst neighborhood in town. Pastor lives in the best part of town. Like my whole life, I thought that's just what it was. I didn't realize till later, like, oh, they're not getting taxed.
They're running a
scam.
scam.
Oh, okay. All that kind of
But
stuff.
it doesn't make sense if you don't. Like, I was raised Catholic. There's more. What is it? What is the quote? There is more chance of a camel passing through the eye of the needle than a rich man has of entering the kingdom of heaven.
Yes, that is. A
You've
quote.
heard that?
Yes, that is a quote.
Yeah.
And so the way they got around that, at least in the past, is that they made up a fact. They said like, oh, there's this really narrow canyon that's called the Eye of the Needle, and the camel could pass through it if you got rid of some of your stuff, but not like a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So that was like a fake story they had made up to justify being rich, because they're like, oh well, we're not going through that pass anymore, so we can just be rich. They meant that was for that one thing, and then that was like a whole. They tried to justify it like that, but yeah.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
So do religions pay taxes in the UK?
They do. So they would pay a lower percentage of tax because they would be classified as a non-profit. So if it's a non-profit, I think, I'm not an expert on UK tax law, but I think that's what it would be.
Okay, because a nonprofit would get taxed here. If you have a
Yeah.
nonprofit, that's what get taxed. But religion, it's all profit. Insane. It's all profit.
It's all profit.
All profit. 100% profit.
100% profit.
100% profit.
Prophet
It's
Muhammad, baby. Peace be upon him.
You are controversial. He's a naughty comic.
But
Yeah.
but it's all profit here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. So
Yeah, dude.
so where does this money go? Because obviously the purpose of a church is to help the poor.
This is the pastor. Just right into the pocket. Just right into the pocket. Yeah, they have you ever seen? Hey, can you bring up the video? Look up Kenneth Copeland private jet.
Oh, that's one of the greatest interviews of all time.
Have you ever seen this?
No.
Oh, this
you'll love this.
This describes exactly what we're saying, and every mega church and mega billionaire pastor, like this is, God, just
Go to
watching
YouTube.
Val try to spell stuff is the best.
Yeah.
Oh, one sec. Let me get the audio to the.
Yeah, this is.
We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that
He's a
it's
mega
like getting
pastor.
into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really the main.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business. But
Business of your donors.
listen, I paid. You kind of caught me off guard here, okay?
Certainly. Well, if you'd like to come out here, I'd like to give you a chance to catch your breath and have a conversation. We don't want to catch you off guard.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listen to me. My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh, yeah. Now, thank you, Lord. Help me. Let me pray.
Well, let me just ask you a really simple question. A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher to live a life of luxury and to fly around in private jets. What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We have brought over 100, let's see, the latest figures just came out, 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let me give you another example. Last May,
It's like watching you can
I
pause it.
was
Yeah,
scheduled.
it's like watching a demon getting
That's
confronted.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that crazy?
How scary he was is insane. Also, when he started praying, it was really funny.
Yeah.
Start praying. But that's an example. That's just one of the hundreds of mega pastors, and they all fly private jets. It's insane. They're rock stars.
And they're so Joel Osteen has this mega church, huge mega church, and we had in 2018 or 19, I believe it was 18 actually, maybe 17, Hurricane Sandy in Houston, and they needed a place for people who were displaced to stay, and he locked his doors.
Yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah,
He locked his doors.
he locked his doors.
I get it though. It's a very nice church.
Yeah.
They were dirty. They're dirty.
They're dirty and they're poor.
Yeah, poor people smell though, you know.
They do.
Yeah.
They genuinely stink.
And what are we
Yeah.
gonna help these poor people out at this church? That's not what churches are for.
No, they're for making money.
Yeah.
Making money. You're gonna have these poor people in my money printing factory? Get out of here.
Yeah. Golly, that's so crazy. The taxes thing. And then you guys still tax the religion. Because UK is mainly Catholic.
No, we are Protestant Church of England. The Irish are Catholic. Ireland is so the way Europe is we used to be Catholic, and then Henry VIII, have you heard of Henry VIII?
I've heard of Henry VIII.
Yeah. Okay, so Henry VIII was our most notorious monarch. Now, he was married to his first wife. She wasn't giving him a male heir, and this was a problem. Now we all know now that it's the man that decides whether a child is male or female, right?
Yeah.
But back then it was a woman's fault, which is why it was better back then. But anyway, we're gonna gloss over it. So, and he was like, "It's the woman's fault. I'm gonna need to get divorced." So he went to see the Pope and went, "Hey, listen, Popey, I'm gonna need to get another bird in here so I can get a male heir." And the Pope refused. And so he went, "Fuck you. I'm leaving the Catholic Church and I'm setting up my own church." And he created the Church of England, which is a Protestant church.
Just so he could get some different pussy?
Yeah.
Your guys' religion is because somebody wanted to just fuck someone else?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yep.
Oh, you just knew that. That's common knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty common. She knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn
Yeah, Val knows.
Yeah.
She's an idiot.
it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's the main church in England is the I want to have sex with other women church?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he
Good
wanted.
church.
Yeah, it's a good church. And then he wanted to marry. So then he married one, and then it didn't work out. Then he married another. Then he married another.
Had a
then
couple of them killed.
Yeah, I mean they got annoying. You know, she turned out to be a witch, don't they all? You know, so he had to have her killed. I mean, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
Did he ever have a male heir?
Sorry.
Did he ever have his male heir?
No.
You ever get it?
No. Well, he did, and then the boy. I think the boy died, but his heir to the throne was Elizabeth I.
And then didn't she have like a whole war over with her sister because her sister was like more Catholic?
Yes, and her
Yes.
sister was Catholic, Mary Queen of Scots.
Mary Queen of Scots. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she had her killed.
Yeah, they had a whole like, dude, Protestants and Catholics like hate each other back then. It was crazy. They would like kill each other.
I mean,
would
they
kill
hate each other now.
Yeah, but it's like less intense, I think.
We should go to Northern Ireland. Oh,
That's a fair point.
yeah.
They were talking about that. When I was in Ireland, they were talking about, I heard like how it used to be a real war, I guess, over these things.
Yeah, man. The Irish call it the Troubles. It was basically civil war.
Wow.
In Northern Ireland, it was civil war. Really, it was guerrilla warfare, like civil war.
Dude,
Wild.
That's
the more
insane.
you learn, huh?
I've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot today.
Where's
Oh
Val
my
from?
God. Peru.
Yeah, well, you're technically correct.
Am I right?
Yeah, what was the big one? What was the other country?
No, it's Peru and Venezuela.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
But is Peru and Venezuela?
No, Peru is not in Venezuela.
I thought I was still right.
Two completely different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all fucking dumb. You're all fucking idiots. And stuff.
All right, want to start the pod?
All right, yes, okay. We'll start the pod now. None of that was, just so you know, none of that was on the pod. We're starting the podcast now.
Right. So, well, okay. So the
Francis, everybody.
Francis Foster, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, brother.
So usually we do like a quick game or two. We create a game specifically for our guest here.
Whoever
today.
our guest is, we always try to make the game specific to that person.
Perfect.
Yes. And this actually has a backstory. This game has a backstory. So when Deric moved to Austin and I was visiting, he lived on campus, on the UT campus.
Okay.
Right? So one day we go to like Vulcan or whatever for a show, and he goes, "Hey, we'll get in this Uber and we'll pretend to be college students. Like we'll just riff." He gets in there, and I go, "Hey, how was class today?" He goes, "Man, trigonometry was so hard." And then I immediately break because I was like, "You didn't take that in high school?" I immediately was like, "You have it."
So we're going back and forth the whole car ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm really struggling with trig. It's like hard.
And I'm just like, "Dude, this is a high school class. What are you even doing?"
And then when we get out of we get to the Vulcan, we're about to get the Uber, and the guy goes, "Hey man, you gotta get out of trig." Oh, dude.
So, and your podcast is named Trigonometry.
Yes.
So this is very simple. Our game today is only 5 questions because it turns out trig is really hard.
Yeah.
But it's 5 basic questions.
Okay.
Hold on. Are you not at the beginning? That's so funny. All right. It's 5 basic questions. It's a math quiz on trigonometry.
Cool.
Yeah. So you have boards next to you. It's gonna be you versus Deric.
Gotta
and-
show
Oh,
your
wow.
work. Show your work,
I,
dude.
I imagine.
Amazing.
Hopefully you'd win.
Yeah.
I'd
I better win.
God, if you don't win, you're
Yeah.
gonna feel so embarrassed.
Real quick before we start, what the hell is GCSE and A levels? What's that?
So GCSE stands for General Certificate of Secondary Education. That's when you leave school. See, we leave school at 16.
Okay.
And then A levels are when you want to take academic qualifications of a higher level. So it's kind of pre-university
Test.
qualifications test, yeah.
Wait,
In Harry Potter, it's like newts and owls.
owl.
Yeah.
First off, I knew he was talking about owls.
Yeah.
I knew already. I was like, oh, he's talking about their owls, their OWLs.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask. Wait, you said 16 high school ends?
So yeah, high school ends at 16.
What do you do? Where you go right to university?
No.
After 16?
You will then go to normally some kind of training or you do A levels.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you train to be a carpenter, electrician, something like that.
Is that like I guess, would that be like considered like a trade? How we have trade schools?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. So this is just 5 simple questions on trigonometry. So here we
Let's
go.
go.
Question number 1.
I pressed it. There we go.
Here we go. Trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that studies the relationships between sides and angles of what shape?
What?
Just- what shape is trigonometry based off of? Deric, and we'll go over
What I put.
the question. We'll go over the answers each time. All right, show your answers. What do we got?
Square.
Triangles, and the answer is triangles.
Damn, it's in the words.
Yeah, I was like,
Fuck,
come
dude.
on.
Fuck,
I believe in you.
dude.
All right.
But in my head, you know what's funny? I'm so stupid. I didn't focus on the trigger part. I focused on the geometry. I was like, square. Has to be a square because everything is squares.
All right, this is a multiple choice question, I believe. This next one. What kind of triangles? A, isosceles, B, scalene, or C, right? All right, the answer?
B.
The answer is right. C. So it's Francis is 2 for 2.
All right.
I-
We have a fucking ringer here. You know, he's a fucking genius.
Do you know what a scalene triangle is?
'Cause that's what I picked, right?
Yeah.
I want to say.
Do you know?
Yeah, it's I look. I'm cheating. I used to teach primary school.
Oh yeah, all those fucking retarded cunts.
Yeah, yeah. I used to do this with like 10-year-olds.
So a scalene triangle is one where all the sides are different,
Yeah, unequal.
unequal.
Oh.
Isosceles, 2 of the sides are equal.
And then the right is just
The
yeah.
90 degree
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah, the 90
And
degree.
on an isosceles triangle, both sides are equal, both angles are equal.
Mhm.
Right angle is 90-degree angle.
The 90 degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and scalene, all sides are different, all angles are different.
That's like the Picasso.
Yes.
That's like the Picasso triangle.
Yeah. Yes. When he's in his cubist, no, not when in his cubist period, but yeah, absolutely. I was trying to be too smart, and I'm like, no, you've been retarded.
Yeah, remember who you're talking to here, dude.
All right, next question. Radians measure the angles of what shape? That's, you know what's funny? That multiple choice is on the wrong question. So,
Okay, because I was like,
Radians.
what?
yeah.
So ignore the multiple choice.
Ignore the multiple choice.
Okay, radians measures.
The angles of what shape?
There's too many S's in these words.
Yeah.
Radians.
Radians measures the angles.
Of what shape?
I don't.
Because this is, I remember learning this in my trig class. So,
You remember this?
yeah. Val, did you put the answer to that question on the next slide?
I think so.
So skip the next slide and I'll just say it out loud because I think
Hold on. Radians measure the angles of what shape?
Mhm.
So just go to the next question.
after that. Yeah.
What
Wait,
is-
but don't answer that. Just go. Radians, angle, the measure. Oh, you already wrote it down.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Go.
Circles.
Quadrilaterals. The correct answer is circles.
Let's go. I've never gotten one of these right.
Okay.
Well done, man. Oh,
That's
fuck.
crazy. It's 2-1
You know what's
right
funny?
now.
But the radians, I was like, I remember that. Because that's
Yeah.
how you measure a circle like from the inside, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the radius.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
Yeah. Actually, Val, let's go ahead and go to question 5 before we go to question 4. Because this got...
I only got 4 questions from you.
Oh, that's so funny. Did we not get
don't-
5 questions?
No, I only got 4 from you.
Let me see.
So Ehsan is the idiot.
Let me see.
Aha.
Hold on.
I mean, I could have messed it up, but
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,
oh,
5.
What is the symbol for radians?
Don't
Oh,
look.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there
What
were
was
5.
So the last question was, what is the symbol for radians?
Yeah. Okay. Well, here, answer this question. Answer the question 4, because
Okay.
then we'll go. I'll just say question 5 out loud. But you can make this big. Yeah.
So which is a graph
Of the cosine function.
the cosine?
Yo, I remember. This is like,
Yeah, dude.
I feel like Slumdog Millionaire right now. It's like all these past memories are rushing through my brain.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I don't know. I'm gonna have a guess. Cosine.
Eric, can you get this? This is the A, B, C,
Or D.
or D.
The way you said ABC makes me feel like it's one of those.
Yeah.
You kind of forgot D,
I kind of forgot D. Well, because D just looks a little different. I totally forgot.
but I kind of want to put D. Isn't that crazy? Because in my head, that's what I was gonna pick. Because I remember you have to measure it to, like, you remember the 2 dots?
Yeah.
Like that was a thing that you had to measure.
Right.
But the way you said it, like it's not D. And even like, when I brought it up, you said it again like it wasn't D.
Well, you got the guess.
All right.
We put the answer
B.
is B. C. The correct answer is C. That's the
Fuck!
cosine function. Yeah. A. If we go back a page.
Wait,
So A, that's a parabola. If you remember those.
I do remember the word.
Yeah, that's the tangent function.
Tangent.
Yes, B is tangent. C is the cosine, and then D, that's just a line.
But I remember those.
Yeah, that's the Y. You remember Y equals MX plus B?
Yes.
That's that.
Okay, because it looks familiar the way the 2 dots are there. It's
Yes.
like, oh,
yes. That's the first time we ever used graphing paper. That is what we did.
That's what they show
Yeah.
you.
All right, Val, go back to question 3 because we can use that ABC. Well, you already saw the answer.
Oh.
But
I didn't see the answer.
you didn't see the answer?
I
Okay,
didn't see it.
okay. Radians, so we're talking about radians. Which of these symbols, A, B, C, or D, is the symbol for radians?
Well, we know it's not one of those,
Yeah.
and then we know it's not another one of those because that's music.
No, these are all mathematical
Nope,
functions.
that's a music one.
These are all mathematical
We
functions.
know which one is clearly a music symbol.
There's no music symbol here. These are all mathematical functions. A, B, C, or D. Which one is the symbol for radians? See, Francis' answer's in.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go A.
All right, both
A.
of you went A. That is the symbol for integrals and calculus. The symbol for radians
It's C.
C.
is D. It's the pi.
It's not.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Yeah.
you tricky bastard.
Yeah, he is.
You tricky bastard.
Yes, yes. So if you go back, I believe so that's the integrals. That's the sum. Vector. I forgot what that's for. I
Oh,
remember.
vectors. I remember vectors.
I remember them in college. I don't remember what I used them for. And then the pi. Yeah.
Yeah, vectors are lines.
Mhm.
I remember doing vectors.
Wow, I love how you still graded yourself. That teacher's still in you.
Yeah,
That's
man.
still in
He
you.
wrote down his grades. So
Yeah.
pass or fail.
But for 3 out of 5 is 60%.
Yeah.
Still better than Deric, who got 1.
Needs work.
Needs to do better is so funny.
Oh, please
Can you
hold that
it
up.
to
Can you
the
please
camera?
hold that up to the camera?
That's how you know I am both a teacher and Catholic. That's how you know.
Oh, Francis, thank you so much for doing the pod.
That was great. Hold on, can I show this video?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. I forgot
Last
the
thing,
video.
last
Okay.
thing. I saw this scrolling this morning, and I was like, I just want to show them this because this is funny.
I don't really have a problem with Kendrick. I would never call Kendrick a, you know what I'm saying?
He says
I
faggot.
don't like what happened with the song and that whole idea. I don't like how they used Kendrick. That's right. And also, I don't like him saying he the number one because I'm the number one. So those are my two things.
People think that that's jealousy. They feel like even when you criticize the Super Bowl performance, or you're like, man, I didn't like him on Cardi's album. He got too many verses. Like, yeah, he could rap, but we ain't want to hear this shit.
Y'all don't go to church? God is an angry God. God is a jealous God. What are you talking about? I'm the closest thing to God on earth. And I act just like how God acts.
It's like, because at first you're like, oh, he's crazy, and then you're like, wait, or is he the funniest person alive? Is he crazy or funny? I don't, because he ended it as like, well, that was such a funny thing to say.
That was
Yeah.
in the black KKK outfit.
In a black
Yeah.
KKK outfit.
Well, that was him.
That was Kanye West.
I thought that was a sketch. That's actually him? Oh my
That's a
God.
real interview.
Yeah. That was him.
The video that's going viral now, that interview is he shows up he has just a Nazi, like a swastika chain on,
Yeah.
and he has a P. Diddy shirt on, a Sean John shirt. That's how he shows up to the interview. And then he's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. And then he goes, and then he comes back in full Klan outfit. And you're like, okay, I don't know. Is he being funny?
That's so funny.
He is. He's a genius.
Yes, clearly.
He's just. I mean, did you see the clip when he was talking about the doctor? And he was saying, the doctor said that I was unwell, and he basically goes, he said as I'm well. He gave me all this medication, and look, I'm not gonna say the race of the doctor. It was a Jewish doctor.
He's so funny, dude.
So funny.
He's so funny. Oh my God. Okay.
All-time great interview already, just from that
Yeah.
one clip. It's
Yeah,
like,
I've been watching it nonstop. It's
Yeah.
really good.
crazy.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
wild.
Dude. Anyway, I had to show you that. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks
You're the
so
fucking
much
best.
for having me.
Francis, the man.